Make transactions anywhere in the world with the NCBA Visa card and stand a chance to win big. Join the FIFA World Cup 2022 when you win an all-expenses-paid trip for you and your +1 to watch 2 games. Or win exciting weekly prizes that will make your FIFA viewing experience super duper. All it takes is a swipe or a tap to pay 2,000 Kenya shillings or more with your NCBA Visa debit or credit card. The more you swipe or tap to pay, the higher your chances of winning with 1 point for every 2,000 Kenya shillings spent. Don't miss out. NCBA. Go for it.
Feel the excitement. Relish every moment. Get 1.5 GB at 50 bob, valid for 3 hours. Furahia futa. Dial *544#. Make chaguo smarter na Airtel, the most affordable network.
It's the 4th match of the round of 16 and a qualification into the quarterfinal is in the offing. This time round, a much fancied English side is going to be taking on the African champion Senegal. The 90 minutes, anything happens because everybody is looking to be in the quarterfinals. And the hopes are raised of a continent in the team that is Senegal. Yeah, but Senegal lost a match, remember? In the very first match they played, they lost to Netherlands. The English side did not lose, but that's, again, a story of statistics. A nice little run here, and just his left foot then. His left foot delays him. Bulaidia with Maguire cutting him off, but then Bulaidia going in front of the defender, knowing very well that if he goes diagonally, he would be safe, but he doesn't touch the ball at that very crucial moment that he should have been shooting.
Well, he should have had an early shot there, Dia, and Dia has had a few of the misses that Senegal has had.
He's probably trying to get a head onto this one. It comes very close to Kylie Walker. Sends it out onto the left side. Too much power, you'd say, put on that one, but I think he brought it in nicely into the box, trying to look for a connection from there. Well, for some reason then Harry Kane decides not to strike from there. It must have been because there was a maze of other green stockings that were blocking him there, and he thought he would probably not get a clean shot and probably would get injured in the process.
Well, you're right, Bernard. Look at how many green shots were behind the ball here.
Looked like an offside on field forward, and as Rice was bringing the ball in from the right side, he lifted it up, didn't get the power that he wanted onto it. Enough men were trying to get away from it, so Mendy starts a build-up close to his own goal area, and danger abounds in this kind of instances, especially if you're not very confident about whether or not you're going to be able to get the ball back to your goalkeeper. And Mendy starts it very close. It's pretty simple as well, Jacob. If you let the team, especially the English team, get their rhythm, then you're going to be in trouble. Mendy watches this one just scrolling over, gets a little bit of a knock from Saka, not intentionally though. Coming from Harry Kane, the captain of the side. Just not expected to have been coming that hard, but Mendy manages to just make sure that there's no one else who's going to be touching it. This dissuades Saka from going to it.
And the second time that England has made a cross from the left side, so I think
At least he should have even picked it up because he was alone there. Would have given it back to the goalkeeper and started the build-up from there. But he watched it roll off the field of play at a corner in the offing for the English side. Mendy will come into focus again with Rice very close to him there. The West Ham United forward midfielder is actually thinking that he could get a chance just near there, but it comes from behind.
Well, it's South Korea versus Brazil. Quite a bit tough match. Most people might see it as a very easy match, and especially since Brazil have already beaten South Korea this year, beating them by 5-1 in a friendly that they played. And today, the expectation from most people is very similar. However, there are a few questions that we need to ask each other. First of all, one of the things that we've seen from teams from the Asian region has been one of surprises, especially when they faced teams that were supposedly big teams. Japan, unfortunately, just getting kicked out by Croatia. But along the way to the round of 16, they managed to beat Germany as well as Spain. But today, facing Croatia and losing that match by 3-1 in a penalty shootout. Saudi Arabia also beating a big team in Argentina. So is the same going to happen today when South Korea faces Brazil? That is the question I should be asking you. But then I know that even you cannot be able to respond to it, and we can only wait for the first 90 minutes of that match to be able to tell who will win it. In terms of the star players to watch out for, of course, when we look at Brazil, everyone today will be talking about Neymar. Neymar is back after that injury that he picked in the first game against Serbia on the 80th minute. And today there will be a lot of expectation on him, and especially after they lost their last group match to Cameroon without him. The previous match before that, they won it, and they showed a lot of team spirit to be able to go ahead and win it. Today will be another day that we see most of the Brazilians as they play their samba trying to pass to Neymar, hoping that he can be able to make something happen. There is a bit of curiosity though, because we saw Brazil very alive, and I've had so many people talk about Brazil playing without Neymar. They're much better. Is that the case? Today, Neymar has a lot to prove in terms of showing that he is a force to reckon with as far as Brazil is concerned, and he is a very major part of the team. Let's switch to Son Heung-min because Son has had a very mixed season over Tottenham Hotspur and also in this World Cup. He picked up an injury at some point, and he hasn't really picked up where he left off last season. Last season, he took the Golden Boot home with 24 goals. Unfortunately, this season has not been very good for him in front of goal and also playing for Tottenham Hotspur. In the World Cup, he has been one player that the whole South Korea team has been depending on, has been looking up to, but unfortunately, he's yet to find the net up until now. Is this going to be his moment? That is another question that can only be responded to when we watch the first half of this particular match. And I keep on talking about the first half, but you have to remember that football is a game of 90 minutes. If Brazil score early, most people will say yes, they are able to go on and finish it. And from history and the number of goals that Brazil has been able to score against South Korea, we've seen them score 5-1 in the last game. Before that, it was 3-0. Before that, it was 2-0. So it has been more of an increase as far as Brazil is concerned. The first half of that match is almost underway. I will have my two analysts on set in a few, but that will be after this.
the excitement. Relish every moment. Get 1.5 GB at 50 bob. Valid for 3 hours. Furahia futa. Dial *544 hash. Make chaguo smarter na Airtel, the most affordable network.
Chuma ya dosi ni chuma ya nguvu. Ikisimama kwa building, hakuna kitu baya ita happen kwa hiyo building.
Chuma ndio nyumba. Nyumba zetu zote tunatumianga chuma ya dosi.
Doshi Steel, chuma ya nguvu.
Wachua mamili leo na Loto Moto. Kucheza ni rahisi zaidi. Kwenye M-Pesa, chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number, weka 757070. Account number, andika neno Loto, kisha weka star. Alafu nambari yako ya simu. Kwenye amount, weka kiwango chochote cha pesa, kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi shilingi 2000. Lipa na usubiri draw. Cheza kwa kuwajibika. Mchezo huu ni wazi kwa watu walio na umri wa miaka 18 na zaidi.
Welcome to the Living Room Stadium. It's the FIFA World Cup. The match is about to start. Food and drink ready. There's no space left for anyone. Come on, get your lucky chair. Take your usual spot. Even the puppy has one. It's preparation time. You can feel the tension in the air. And do you have everything you need to believe?
Feel the excitement. Relish every moment. Get 1.5 GB at 50 bob. Valid for 3 hours. Furahia futa. Dial *544 hash. Make chaguo smarter na Airtel, the most affordable network.
As Kane puts it through onto the left side, they cut back and a nice little touch that puts it on the net. Jordan Henderson gets himself on target. And England look like they would want to go on a counter-attack. There's two men up at the front and only one defender. They've waylaid him. It's a goalkeeper, and Harry Kane gets onto the score chart. Matara. England then has it, and it's Kane again. Oh, this time round tackled down. Very good technique and an easy goal by Bukayo Saka. Just a little tug that goes over the goalkeeper with the run coming from the left side and coming from Phil Foden.
With your Equity cards, there is no need to carry cash or visit the ATM. Enjoy secure, convenient and stress-free payments at no extra charge with your Equity cards. Jumambo ni kulipa na Equity card.
Do you know you stand the risk of disconnection if you have not updated your SIM registration details? Dial star 106 hash to check your SIM registration status. If your details are not updated, dial star 106 hash and select option 2 to get the self-update link. You will be required to upload your original ID image copy, both front and back. Alternatively, you can visit the nearest Airtel outlet. Remember, you only have until December 15th, 2022 to comply. This is a SIM regulation requirement as per the Communications Authority of Kenya. Airtel, the most affordable network.
We can get Kalasha to the prestige that is the Oscars.
But what Kalasha is doing, and it's been 12 years now running, is beyond just a passion project.
And broadcasters, wherever they are, I'm also calling on them to be able to share Kenyan stories.
Thank you so much for this platform.
I do for the culture, Mimi.
Shin City was an actual city, or rather an artistic representation of one.
I want to build something for my people.
Few hours into his performance, Femi One, in her usual colorful self, rocked up on stage and absolutely wrecked their performance off properly. Pamoja Dancing Group, in conjunction with Eric Langet, a lifetime coach and a dancing choreographer for people living with disability all the way from France, organized a special event.
For with disability, ama mtu aliye na maumbile tofauti. Kwanza ni akubali alivyo.
Ai, venye ina slap kishash, kishash.
Well, we are the 974 Stadium in Qatar, and there is a high expectation, of course, on South Korea, especially since this World Cup is being played in Asia. So the backing for most of the Asian teams has been pretty high. I know that my colleague Daniel Wahome is on standby at the 974 Stadium, and he will be telling us more about the containers there and the 974 Stadium and what our expectations should be in terms of the match that is coming up, and of course the plans that are underway for the 974 Stadium immediately after this tournament. Take it away, Wahome.
Thank you very much, Sami Muraya, back at Broadcasting House. And we are at the 974 Stadium, and this is on the shores of the Gulf. And you can see it's on the western side, ideally, of the Gulf when it comes to Qatar. And this stadium has got 40,000, seats, and it's 2 kilometers from the Doha city center. It's made up of 974 containers, and it is in the Ras Abu Abud district of the Qatar metropolis. If you just take a look behind me, you can see that all the containers are here, and the name of the stadium is actually derived from a magical number that I can talk about. 974. The international dialing code for Qatar is +974, and the number of containers used to put up this stadium and other innovative ways that they put up this stadium with is 974. Now, what's the story of this stadium? This is the final match that is going to be played at the 974 Stadium. And what a bigger match can you have? Brazil playing against Korea Republic, and this is at this phase of the competition, the round of 16. The noise, it's beyond some very crazy decibels. The stadium DJ is having fun, and you can still see, actually, if you take a look to my left, all the fans walking into the stadium yet to take their seats. It's still about 50 minutes to kick off, but in the next half hour, technically the gates will be closed. Everyone's got to be in the stadium as the teams get ready to move into the dressing rooms. And the primary color here is the Seleção green, blue and yellow. That's what you can see. So what's the story of this stadium before it is brought down by the Supreme Council of the delivery of the legacy of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022? On the 22nd of November, Mexico played against Poland in the stadium. 2 days later, Ghana played against Portugal. France and Denmark played 2 days later. On the 30th of November, Argentina versus Poland. 2nd of December, Serbia playing, Switzerland playing against Serbia. And today is the final game. So after they're done with this stadium, what's going to happen? All the containers are going to be brought down. All the scaffolding and supporting equipment is going to be brought down. Then they're going to have a waterfront from a stadium to a recreational park. What a story that they have told around this stadium. The atmosphere, electric. Everyone here all geared up for that. I was at the media center earlier and there is not a seat available for anyone. So you can imagine how huge this story is. At the press conference yesterday, I haven't seen one as full as that for the time that I've been here. Attended several press conferences, but yesterday everyone was at this. Anyone who's anyone in the media was at that place. The early bird got the seats. As for the others, you stayed on your feet. So it's going to be 2 hours of grand football. We've seen the first penalty shootout. We witnessed the first penalty shootout in that match between Croatia and Japan. Croatia eventually coming out on top after that penalty shootout. So for the Japanese side, they're out of the tournament. Croatia, the land of the cravat, continue with their journey in that championship. And remember, who are they going to meet? It's either Brazil or Korea Republic. And remember, that match is coming to you on KBC Channel 1. So I'll leave it to you to Sami Moriah and your team. World Cup iko KBC, KBC iko Qatar. My name is Daniel Wahome.
Well, thank you very much, Daniel Wahome there at the Ras Abu Aboud Stadium. And what a history. And it's pretty interesting to hear what these guys are doing with their stadium. In fact, I heard that there are 2 of them that are movable. So you can literally be able to pick the stadium up, take it to another location and literally set it up as was. For the 974 stadium, it is a story of bringing back the containers down to earth and then making it into a recreational center. What an interesting story. I'm joined in studio by the double O's. Have you guys ever actually known that your names are B.O.B.O.?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Beldin, Odemba, and Bernard Odipo.
I've always noticed.
Really? I've never noticed.
So I'm joined by the B.O.s here in studio, Bernard and Beldin. And guys, it's a pretty exciting match. And personally, I'm excited not because Brazil is playing, but because I'm seeing the first upset in these quarterfinals. Because so far, it looks like all the so-called big teams are winning.
So you're seeing an upset when they meet in the next
I'm seeing South Korea beating Brazil. That's what I'm trying to say in a nutshell.
We are yet to see that, but what I've noticed so far from the teams that have played is that the so-called big teams know how to play knockouts.
Well, the so-called big teams know how to play knockouts. In fact, Odipo and I literally were talking just before the penalties, Croatia versus Japan, and there was a bit of conviction on his end that Japan could be able to win it, and it didn't go Japan's way, unfortunately.
You know, and normally I always think big teams don't prepare for beyond 90. I was surprised Japan didn't prepare for beyond 90, because I mean the smaller teams are supposed to prepare beyond 90.
Why do you think they didn't prepare?
I don't know, because the penalties were poor.
No, they always have.
Isn't it an element, Beldin, sometimes of teams being so sure they can win it? We are talking about a team that beat Germany, a team that beat Spain, a team that scored fast today, but they got tired towards the second half of the match.
But Croatia, last World Cup, 2014 finalist, Croatia is a big team, so you can't think about winning it in 90 minutes. If you're playing Croatia, it should be the other way around. I expected Croatia to be the poorer team.
They struggled in the group stages.
Yes,
they did struggle in the group stages.
Like Beldin has said, everyone struggled in the group stages, but when it comes to knockout football, the big teams are emerging. Are coming out better teams. They're looking good, they're looking confident, they're looking like people who know what they want to do.
Exactly.
Beldin, I know you coach youth, but I want to, you've played football, but I want to talk about the setup in the pitch. You're a team that has been trained, cultured, nurtured to play very quick, pacey football. That is Japan. So Do you think you can survive 120 minutes against an old team that didn't do a lot of running? They were more relaxed passing the ball around.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's hard, but as a coach you have to prepare for that. When you get to such a competition, you have to prepare that you might play beyond 90 minutes. You're most likely to play beyond 90 minutes, and also you're most likely to go for penalty shootouts.
Well, they're most likely to go for penalty shootouts, and Odipo proudly told us that he has never lost any penalty that he has.
It's on record.
I don't believe.
It's on record.
Really don't believe
it's on record.
Yeah?
I don't
Where's
believe.
the record?
We need to see
Who
videos.
has the record?
Someone has a record. You want me to bring the record next time?
Yes, please.
I will.
We not just a record of you writing by yourself. It's called this
Video evidence. Video evidence.
This is third world.
Thank you very much. We want VAR evidence that can be able to show that you actually managed to score all those goals. But now let's get into the two teams that are out already at the 974 Stadium, and I will go through the lineups, and of course we'll look at both teams. For South Korea, this is, I think, the easiest team to read because the goalkeeper and the whole defense is Kim.
So four Kims at the back.
So 5 Kims at the back. Let me just do people justice. It's Seul Gyu Kim, Kim Soo Jin, Kim Gwon Yang, Kim Min Jae, Moon Hwan Kim, Hwang Byon In, Woo Young Jung, Son Hyung Min, Jae-sung Lee, Hee Chang Wan, and Guesang Cho. That is the starting 11 for South Korea. For the Brazilians, we have Alisson in goal, Eda Militao, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, Danilo, Casemiro, Lucas Paqueta, Rafinha, Neymar, Vinicius Jr. and Richarlison will be up front finishing for the Brazilians. Let's first of all talk about South Korea, because I know we'll have a lot to say about the Brazilians. Let's talk about South Korea because so far in this tournament they've not been that formidable force that they were in 2002, or we saw a little bit of it in 2014. But then looking at them in this particular World Cup, they did struggle in the group stages, but then they're here. They're in the round of 16, and chances are high that they're not here as jokers. They're here to actually, right now, as a team that is representing a whole continent that is hosting the World Cup. So basically we will see a lot from the South Koreans, and you will be able to talk about them in a few minutes and how they all play for teams that are very similar names, but that will be after this break.
Miujiza, mimi nimejaribu kulima wa mahindi hadi nimekata tamaa.
Nisikize rafiki yangu, nimebadilishwa na kilimo cha mahindi.
Siri kwa wapi?
Siri ni hii: kwa mazao kemkem napanda nikitumia Elgon Dhabiti Maize Planting.
Elgon Super Fertilizer is your surest partner in successful farming and is available in various packages that suits your pocket. Elgon Kenya, transforming farms and lives through technology. Buy Kenya, build Kenya.
The stunts as Kane puts it through onto the left side. They cut back and a nice little touch that puts it on the net. Jordan Henderson gets himself on target. And England look like they would want to go on a counter-attack. There's 2 men up at the front and only 1 defender. They've waylaid him. It's a goalkeeper. And Harry Kane gets onto the score chart. Matara. England then has it, and it's Kane again. Oh, this time round tackled down. Very good technique and an easy goal by Bukayo Saka. Just a little tuck that goes over the goalkeeper with the run coming from the left side and coming from Phil Foden.
With your Equity cards, there is no need to carry cash or visit the ATM. Enjoy secure, convenient and stress-free payments at no extra charge with your Equity cards. Jumambo ni kulipa na Equity card.
Cheza Loto, shinda pesa moto.
Wachua mamili leo na Loto Moto. Cheza ukianzia na shilingi 50 na ushinde milioni 2 kila siku. Kucheza ni rahisi zaidi. Kwenye M-Pesa, chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number, weka 757070. Account number, andika neno Loto. Kisha, weka star. Alafu nambari yako ya simu. Kwenye amount, weka kiwango chochote cha pesa. Kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi shilingi 2000. Lipa na usubiri draw. Makinika papa hapa ili utimize ndoto zako na Loto Moto. Cheza kwa kuwajibika. Mchezo huu ni wazi kwa watu walio na umri wa miaka 18 na zaidi. Ujumbe huu umeidhinishwa na BCLB. Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
Feel the excitement. Relish every moment. Get 1.5 GB at 50 bob. Valid for 3 hours. Furahia futa. Dial star 544 hash. Make Chaguo smarter na Airtel, the most affordable network.
And win with Team Naivas. Kikombe kikwetu. Kumbuka, kila Mkenya ni mshindi.
Chuma ya dosi ni chuma ya nguvu. Ikisimama kwa building, hakuna kitu baya ita happen kwa hiyo building.
Chuma ndio nyumba. Nyumba zetu zote tunatumianga chuma ya dosi.
Doshi Steel, chuma ya nguvu.
Feel the excitement. Relish every moment. Get 1.5 GB at 50 bob. Valid for 3 hours. Furahia futa. Dial star 544 hash. Make Chaguo smarter na Airtel, the most affordable network.
Before nilikuwa nafikiria chuma ni chuma. Wacha nikuambie.
Chuma ndio nyumba. Nyumba zetu zote tunatumianga chuma ya dosi.
With a lot of confidence and a doshi.
Doshi Steel, chuma ya nguvu.
Sisi
ndio tunabeba swag hadi ndani ya pitch. Si ndio the fastest, the biggest, the strongest. They wonder why. Time waliland kucheza ball na Nati, sisi tulikuwa mguu chuma. Ball ni sisi na sisi ni ball. It has always been a part of us. We are passionate, so loud, they had to tell us to keep it down. Na sasa, it's that time again. The time for us to step up. Tuwakumbushe why Waafrika wana shine kwa ligi za majuu. So if you love football, love Africa. Cheer Africa. Africa ni sisi.
There's something that drives us to become who we are.
For me, it's my family. When they're unwell, I can't function.
How are you feeling now?
I'm much better.
Oh, thanks to Madison Better Life. Thanks to Madison Better Life Medical Cover, they have access to the best care 24/7. Madison Group. Usibahatishe.
Ai kaka, hii ni miujiza. Mimi nimejaribu kulima wa mahindi hadi nimekata tamaa.
Nisikize rafiki yangu, nimebadilishwa na kilimo cha mahindi. Nauza mahindi yamenijengea, na pia mashamba nimepata, na isitoshe napata lishe bora ya mifugo yangu.
Shamba ndogo hivi unapata mazao mengi na pesa nyingi.
Kwa muda mfupi.
Siri kwa wapi?
Siri ni hii: kwa mazao kemkem napanda nikitumia Elgon Dhabiti Maize Planting, na baadaye napalilia nikitumia Elgon Dhabiti Maize Top Dressing. Bas, matokeo ni mazao ya ajabu.
Wacha nikatafuta hiyo Dhabiti.
Elgon Super Fertilizer is your surest partner in successful farming and is available in various packages that suit your pocket. Elgon Kenya, transforming farms and lives through technology. Buy Kenya, build Kenya.
Do you know you stand the risk of disconnection if you have not updated your SIM registration details? Dial *106# to check your SIM registration status. If your details are not updated, dial *106# and select option 2 to get the self-update link. You will be required to upload your original ID image copy, both front and back. Alternatively, you can visit the nearest Airtel outlet. Remember, you only have until December 15th, 2022 to comply. This is a SIM regulation requirement as per the Communications Authority of Kenya. Airtel, the most affordable network.
This festive season, mambo ni kulipa na Equity Card. Paying for shopping, lipa na Equity Card. Dinner out with friends, lipa na Equity Card. Fueling, lipa na Equity Card. Doing your hair, nails, makeup, mambo ni kulipa na Equity Card. Unaenda holiday, lipa na Equity Card. Una change luku, lipa na Equity Card. Because with your Equity Cards, there is no need to carry cash or visit the ATM. Enjoy secure, convenient and stress-free payments at no extra charge with your Equity Cards. Juu mambo ni kulipa na Equity Card.
Well, to qualify for the knockout, South Korea had to beat Portugal by 2-1. And when you look at the pedigree of Portugal, of course, it is a big team. And so much expectation in terms of them coming into this match. They beat Cristiano. Can they beat Neymar?
It's not as easy as you make it look. Interestingly, South Korea has matched Brazil's system of play. They've brought up the game with a 4-2-3-1. You see, that's a game that will be played in the midfield, and if you know Brazilians, they are masters in that area. Then again, if you look at this Brazil, it's a Brazil that is still haunted by 2014 7-1 defeat by Germany. I mean, it's rare to find a Brazil that has 4 defenders on any day. These days they play with 4 defenders. That means they're not taking anyone or anything lightly. They're playing completely like a whole team. Normally they defend with 3 people and a more versatile wiper. But they're playing now 4 defenders, which shows, and they have 4 defenders and 2 defensive midfielders right ahead of the defenders. So they're really taking this seriously. They're not playing with Korea, assuming that this is Korea, let's just attack more.
But then, shouldn't we give them credit, Beldin? And the reason I'm asking so is because if you look at the way South Korea have played, in the game against Ghana, yes, they did lose, but they scored 2 goals. The match ended 3-2. In the final match against Portugal, they win 2-1. So which means, despite their lack of height, their swiftness on the ground, their passing on the ground is very good. And in fact, I'm looking forward to a very entertaining match because you have 2 teams here that really love passing the ball.
Yeah. But what I noticed with South Korea, first of all, is they play so compact. You can always see them trying to keep shape. And it's like they're trying to gain strength so that they can go and attack. That is what a lot of teams do when they want to play counter-attack, and they're very good in that. So it's going to be a hard game. It's not going to be an easy match, I don't think so. They might be playing the same system as Odipo says, but of course it's different quality. So maybe the difference might be if we get speed in South Korea team against a more calm midfield of Brazil.
Well, we have a captain in Son Heung-min who has not scored for his country despite the expectation of his countrymen, despite his old nation looking up to him. He hasn't been the same this season. He took the golden boot in last season's Premier League, but right now we are really seeing him struggling, not only in the Premier League but also in the World Cup.
Normal with football, ups and downs, losing form and all that, but he's key to that team, quite instrumental. You see, some players don't really need to score. They might attract attention to allow other players to score. And his inclusion in that team every day, whether he's low or high, is critical to the way that team plays. And he's not the worry, really. Like you mentioned earlier, you've noticed that every game they've won, they've conceded. And that's where the problem is. With a Brazil that has only conceded 1 goal from Abubakar. And that's a problem now. Because that also means, despite them being able to score, despite Kim not being able to score, Son not being able to score, but they're conceding goals. And that's not a good thing.
Well, it's not a good thing, but then what do you do when you're playing against a team like Brazil that loves possessing the ball? You also love possessing the ball, but then what we've seen with Brazil, even when they won against Cameroon, you literally are chasing the ball throughout the game.
Yeah, true.
How do you play against them if you're the South Korea coach?
Just the same way they play. They keep compact every time. They keep shape. I've seen them attacking more with their right back, Jinsu. He's very speedy. He's very intelligent. So maybe they might just go through the wing so that to get goals. Again, look at Brazil.
Are you agreeing with me that we might see a surprise?
We might. This World Cup has been full of surprises. Though I still retract to my words that the so-called big teams are very good in playing knockout stages.
And Brazil have actually started Neymar.
Yeah.
They've looked for that spark. There's that X factor now to a team that maybe didn't seem to have
Odipo,
that light.
It's good that you brought up that point. I have sat down with people who are arguing Brazil is playing better without Neymar. Do you agree?
I don't think so.
Because when you look at the first game that Brazil played, they didn't start playing well and scoring until Neymar left the pitch.
Yeah, that's true.
But even when Neymar was not in the pitch, Brazil didn't score in the first half. Brazil hasn't scored any goal so far in the first half. They're scoring on the second half. So I wouldn't hold that argument.
Yeah, and I want to say, Neymar is an X factor. Look at what he brings into that team. Look at the way many teams are attacking these days in football. People are attacking from the wings. From the wings.
Yes.
But Neymar is playing right behind Rafinha, Richarlison, which means they're going for an out-and-out striker. And Neymar can play. Neymar is a shadow striker. He can play behind that striker quite very well. He can do many things with the ball. He can create. And having Neymar also means the South Korean defense will have work to do because they know he can do many things. It's quite critical for Brazil that Neymar starts.
Is it more critical? And in fact, when we were having the montage, I kept on saying I wish they had put Richarlison for me because Richarlison could be the key today because he was rested in the last match. We saw him score some brilliant 2 goals in the...
He's starting.
Yeah.
He's starting. That's what I'm saying. For me, he's the key man, not Neymar.
Well, Neymar is the Brazilian captain. Really, if he's
today Thiago Silva is.
Oh,
Thiago Silva has been made the captain today, and that also goes to show you what Tite thinks in terms of getting off some of the pressure from Neymar, because the captaincy also comes with a lot of pressure. We saw that in Brazil in 2014.
I would like coach to say that. Is it Is it good to take off
the captain's armband is pretty heavy. Do you agree or not?
On some players, but some are born leaders. They can always
you can always carry the band.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the things that we noticed, and right now as we also are having these conversations, of course, we're also praying for Pele because his health is not doing well, and his family yesterday requested all football fans the world over to pray for him. But Pele, just before this World Cup, said, with Neymar, as long as Neymar is there, we can lift that World Cup again. Can Brazil do it for Pele?
They should.
And today they're going to do it for Pele.
Today they're going to do it for Pele.
They're going to do it for Pele.
You know, the most interesting thing actually about this particular match is Brazil know if they win, basically their stop is going to be at the semi-final, because the next team they face is Croatia.
So you think
and
Croatia,
you think
is easy for Brazil?
Yeah?
Yeah, I believe so.
Why would you think so? They've just beaten Japan.
So you compare Japan to Brazil?
No, Japan is furious also. It's not just a team you can write off. It's like South Korea. It's a very furious team.
Well, it's going to be pretty interesting, but then there are some of these players that we are talking about. One of the things I've noticed in this World Cup, especially for Brazil, I know we've spoken a lot about South Korea, is the fact that Tite has really trusted Thiago Silva, who's also not, he's been solid for Chelsea, but he has his on and off days. He's a bit slow. He's not the same young Thiago Silva we knew. This is a very fast team that he's facing. Can he keep up?
Yeah, I think important.
And I ask you this as a defender.
Yeah, and important to notice who plays ahead of him. I think Casemiro is doing a wonderful job to cover that defense. He's making work easier for Thiago Silva and company, and that's what you want from those two people in front of that defense line. So,
and sometimes experience carries the day. He might not be so fast, he might not move so fast, but he can always read the game and know where to
anticipate where the dangerous balls are going to be played.
How do you call it? First half?
1-0.
1-0 to who?
To Brazil.
1-0 to Brazil for you?
Brazil haven't scored in the first half so far. But I think they're going to go for it. Since this is a knockout, I think they're going to push it. And
we're talking about the first half, not the the whole game.
Yes.
But call it.
Brazil will be up. I don't know how many.
Well, the double BOs have literally convinced each other that Brazil will be leading by halftime. But then again, it is a game of football. You never know how it goes. We can only go to the 974 stadium in Abu in Qatar to see what happens in those first 45 minutes.
Feel the excitement. Relish every moment. Get 1.5 GB at 50 bob. Valid for 3 hours. Furahia futa. Dial *544#. Make Chaguo smarter na Airtel, the most affordable network.
Discover a world full of opportunities. A place to build your skill and see the world in a different perspective. Sensei Institute of Technology is the home to the best practical courses. We offer courses such as plant operator and mechanics, trailer driving, CCTV